Jazzcast Pros.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Getting Real with Bossy. We are your hosts, Kelly Bush.
Kelly Metris.
Good to see you, Kelly. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. Can't complain.
I'm always like, I'm fantastic. I'm not fantastic. I'm still sick from the flu. It's worse than COVID. My dad just had surgery on his thyroid where they had to move his vocal cord. I'm stress baking. I'm navigating the slow season at work and the lack of money to pay payroll, and I'm great. I'm fantastic.
I don't think you know what fantastic means. I think we need to get you a dictionary.
All right, we'll work on that.
Yes. We're just working on our affirmations, right?
Yep. We're affirming. So today, though, we are interviewing Jackie McGriff. I'm so excited. I wish we had 2 hours. Do you remember the
first event? I know. That first event we did with her.
I do very, very, very clearly.
I think I remember that event more than most of the Bossy events we've ever done.
Definitely.
I remember sitting in Knox. I remember because I brought food, and I just remember sitting there going, I don't want to do, I wanted to do the event, but I'm like, I'm not going to participate. I'm just going to help run it. It's so personal and there was just so much emotion, and I don't know what was going on at that time, but I just didn't feel like I could be a part of it. I just wanted to observe it. And then I remember okay, now I need to.
Well, to be fair, Kelly, that many years ago, you had quite a lot going on.
I did have a lot going on.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, we had to write words about ourselves and how we felt about ourselves, and then she took our picture, and then we had to talk about the words. It was just an incredible moment.
She made you talk into a mirror and tell yourself beautiful things.
It was a lot.
It was amazing.
It was a lot. Yeah. It was incredible.
It was Galentine's. So we're looking at something like 8 years ago. We're trying to figure out how long ago it was. So this is perfect timing to bring her back.
Right.
And to find out what's going on. Because at that point in time, Jackie was new at making photography her business and saw a niche. And we always talk about how we can do the same thing, but we all are doing it differently. And I always use us as an example. We're both here running restaurants, but we run our restaurants with different restaurants. We're serving different things. And her niche was really focusing on, you are photogenic, you are beautiful, you are deserving, and leaning into that.
Yeah, it's empowerment, but it is so much different. It's so much bigger than just empowerment. And the work that she does with teens, it's incredible. And I love when she posts those stories, and I love watching how she's grown and what she's been able to accomplish. And I wish we could talk to her for 10 hours.
Yes. So enjoy our interview with Jackie, and we will touch base after. Hi, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Kelly,
the hosts of Getting Real with Bossy, the real, raw, and honest podcast about small business ownership. With our experience, 9 businesses and over 25 years, we continue to bear it all and share what we wish we had known.
We move past the must be nices and start getting real.
Leave with another tool for the next time you feel alone on this journey.
Today we are joined by the multi-talented Jackie McGriff, owner of Jackie Photography and co-founder, director, co-producer of the groundbreaking Our Voices project. Jackie is a force in the creative world, a full-time portrait, editorial, and event photographer, as well as a documentary filmmaker dedicated to creating safe spaces for teens, women, and Black, Brown, and Indigenous people to embrace their bodies, live unapologetically, and share their powerful stories. You might recognize Jackie from Representation in Cinema podcast, where she dives into how film portrays Black, Brown, and the Indigenous communities, or from her guest appearances on Movies in a Microphone, Connections with Evan Dawson, or We Need to Talk About the Oscars. When she's not behind the lens or on a podcast mic, Jackie's soaking in movie scores, documentaries, and all things film and TV from her home base right here in Rochester, New York. We can't wait to dive into her creative journey and learn more from her incredible perspective. Welcome, Jackie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So, I literally am, tearing up because preparing for this interview, I kept going back to that, and we talk about it a lot, the event we did through Bossy that you hosted, 5 or 6 years ago at least.
Yeah, we need another revamp.
I know. Well, we need a revamp, but I remember then you not being sure if this was the route you were going to continue on. Like this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm loving doing, but I don't know if this is what I'm going to keep doing. And then, you throw in a pandemic, but not only have you embraced this work, but you've taken it to a whole nother level. And I absolutely love watching all of the stuff that you're doing. And I have like serious FOMO. Like I'm constantly like, oh my God, I need to, watch this documentary, or I need to follow Jackie more, or I need to go to this event. Like you're constantly doing amazing ththings. And I'm just so happy to witness it even from afar.
Thank you so much. Oh, that means a lot.
And we were just, before you got on, we were talking back because Jackie's got some great things coming up, and she said Galentine's. I'm like, that's where this all started. And Kelly, it had to be even longer than 5 or 6 years ago, because this was, I want to say this could have been like 8 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And bringing tears. I mean, I cried like a child at that event.
There was so many tears at that event.
So many tears at that event.
Even fast forwarding to taking pictures at the event we did over at Pop Rock, and like the way you made us feel taking our pictures that day, and the tears that were brought to our eyes of like, oh my God, we are beautiful. You're right, Jackie. Like you're amazing. So I'm so excited to have you. And I know we're on a limited time because I could just gush forever.
Right.
So let's like dive in. How does one decide they want to be a photographer?
Ooh, I mean, there's so many things, but I will, I guess, go with, I can only speak right for myself, right? So from my experience, it really was like, back to what you were talking about that event we had so many years ago, I was hearing a lot of the teen girls that I used to work with talk about themselves. But even before it got to that, like it was just me and like dealing with my own self-image. I mean, I was just like really in like a low place, and I really did not love what I was looking at in the mirror and everything. And then I remember at the same time that I was going through that, I had started to pick up this interest in photography. What really started to get me into photography, I think, goes back to my grandmother, who I remember, anytime she would come and visit me and my sister at our house and everything, she always had her camera. She was always like trying to get us to take like these different photos and everything. And when we just wanted to play out in the yard and we're just waiting to like go back and play, we were like, okay, grandma, like, okay, we got your photos. Like, can we go back now? Like she would always be taking photos. And then I remember one time going over to her house, and she's like, Jackie, I got to show you something. So she takes me down to her basement, and there's like, she's got like this little bath, like it's the print bath, and it's like she's got this clothesline of just photos. Like she has her own dark room like in her basement. And I just remember looking at it and going, now one part of me is like, oh goodness gracious, like I was like, I just want to go play. But at the same time, right? Like at the same time though, I'm looking at this, I'm like, what in the world? And it wasn't until, so that's like years and years and years ago. And it wasn't until she passed, I feel like she passed her love of photography on to me, because then I just started getting, just all of a sudden, just like started getting interested more in like taking photos downtown, or, taking photos of whatever I could. So then I was really trying to find the beauty, because I would always hear people talking so badly. I always hear people talking badly about Rochester. And so I'm like, no. You know what we're going to do? We're going to find the beauty in our city, because I see so many like beautiful spots in our city and everything. I'm just going to take more of that. So I'm taking these classes. Someone through my previous church who was offering like free classes to get better at photography. So I started taking those. At the same time, I'm doing all of that, dealing with these self-image issues. And I was like, you know what? If I'm trying to find the beauty in our city, but not finding the beauty in myself, like that's a problem, right? Like I'm like, if I am finding like all of these really amazing things about what other folks call, not pretty, not cool, that Rochester is kind of like a humdrum space or whatever. When I knew very much that it's not, I'm like, well, why can't I do the same thing like for myself? Because it was really just in a low place. So like, as far as getting into photography, I mean, it starts with you. Like it started with me and wanting to find the beauty in myself. And so that's where I started. I started with, partially it was like finding, beauty in our city and everything like that, but it was really with also to me. And that's really when I started getting into portrait photography. And then as I'm working on myself, the girls that I was mentoring at the time were also saying all these terrible things about themselves. And I just hated that. I hated that because like, here are all of these like beautiful girls who are super talented, who, I got someone who's drawing, someone else who's really good in school and just is able to like come up with these like random facts and everything. And I'm just like, but y'all don't think that you're like beautiful people? Like this is a problem. And so like, I'm taking selfies. I'm also like, you know what? Like if I'm trying to get better at my photography and I eventually like want to make this a thing where I am doing this full time and getting folks in front of my camera who really are like me, who want to find the beauty in themselves and to want to learn how to love themselves, I really need to make this a thing. And I was with a mentor and she was saying, you need to, I know I'm kind of like all over the place with that one, this one question. I tend to be very long-winded. So this is my long-winded answer to this
makes
question
sense, though.
But it's really, it was a combination of things. It was, again, just working on my own self-image. It was learning to love myself. It was having mentors who really took the time to help me become a better photographer. But then also another photographer mentor of mine who said, you have a talent here. You should make it into a business, right? That's how it turned from a hobby to like, oh, I should go into business for photography. And then what has kept me going was, again, not only learning to love myself, but then also like seeing the needs, seeing and hearing how women talk about themselves, how people talk about themselves in general. And, that's how I approach each client, is like, I'm getting to know you. I am learning what you love, what you don't love. And then from the instant that you're like, oh, I'm not really photogenic, that's why I'm like, challenge accepted. You're going to come out of here. You're going to come out of this session. You're going to be like, you know what? I am a beautiful person. I am lovely. I am photogenic. So yeah, that's my answer.
You do such a great job with it. It's actually funny. The girls are listening to a lot of Olivia Rodrigo right now, and she has a song. I just looked up the name. It's called Jealousy, Jealousy. And in it, she talks about how seeing a beautiful woman doesn't mean she's not beautiful. Like that, like innate thought process that we as women have, which is just kind of like from the time we're little, like shoved in our heads that like, if you're doing well, I don't like you. You have that like, and her addressing like, my being jealous doesn't mean I'm not successful. It just means that I have these thoughts in my head that I don't like. I just find I'm like, I love that they're listening to music like this, and that the it's a small change, but that type of thing didn't exist when I was a kid. And then, to have that kind of lyric, like promoting self-love and acknowledging that we have these feelings.
Yeah, I don't think that's a small change though, Kelly. That's a huge change from what we grew up being told.
Well,
what we grew up listening to.
Right? I guess it is a huge change. So Jackie, you are an amazing, strong, beautiful, independent woman who is made it her business to make other women feel the same. And now you are in film.
Yes.
So tell us about this jump to film.
Well, and actually, before I jump into film, I just wanted to say a quick comment about that. Like, as far as like what we were being told when we were growing up, I go back and I watch the films from like when we were growing up, and there's so many messages in there that are like, I can't believe y'all got away with this.
My kids
my
can't
God,
even
this
watch
is
it. If it was,
terrible.
we have a generalized, if it was made in like the 90s, early 2000s, we just can't watch it because the kids don't get it. They don't understand why it's funny. They don't understand the commentary because they live in a different world. They're like, why would you watch this? So anything made in that time period, we just don't watch with the kids.
Right, exactly. Because you're like, I don't have time to explain. Like, this is crazy.
And I don't want you to be exposed to it, right? Like,
No,
fine. Like, we don't have to.
right.
We don't have to have that in your head. But
Seriously. Yeah. So film, I went to, so, okay. So for everyone who doesn't know, anyone who doesn't know me, I went to school for meteorology because I saw,
Of course.
yes, of course. Because I saw Twister as a kid and was like, I want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't know what that says about me as a 6-year-old that I see tornadoes and think, yeah, I want to go chase those. I don't know. Maybe it's something I go through in therapy. I don't know. But maybe I'm just like that person. But yeah, I saw that. It was like, I want to do that. Then I went through 4 years of physics and calculus and was like, absolutely not. I was like, I can't do this. But the through line through that, I think it was like the movie. It's just good. It's like the most random movie to have this kind of like thing go off. But Holes. So I was watching the movie Holes and wanting to know about who the actors were, like, and so I remember going to IMDb and I'm like looking up the actors and everything, and I just like that became the norm. And any film that I would watch after that, I was just kind of like looking up like people who work behind this. It's like, is this like a job that you can actually do? Because I don't know, to me it just didn't ring as like something that I could do. It's just like make films and everything. So I think it was like junior year of college. My cousin is like, you talk a lot about movies, because that's it. Like, there's always been a big thing with me was movies. Talk about movies all day, every day. And she's like, you're really obsessed with this. Have you ever thought about being a producer or like a director? And I joke all the time that I think that's the time that she inceptioned me. For anyone who doesn't know Inception, it's like planning planning something in your head, right? And so like she inceptioned me. She planted this seed in my head that's like, you could be a director or a producer. And so I'm like, this is my junior year of college, though. Like, I'm 3 years into this. I'm supposed to come out of here. My parents paid a lot of money, for me to go to school. And I'm just sitting here just like, okay, but you really love film. So I graduate because I still wanted to have a degree behind my belt. And had that tough conversation with my parents. It's like, I know y'all paid all this money, but I feel like this is something I really need to go for because I just can't stop thinking about it. And I haven't stopped thinking about it since. So fast forward, I'm working on like film sets and everything. And I'm thinking, oh, this is how I'm going to, I'm going to be a production assistant. I'll be a set decorator and build my way up to directing. But then like I need to like find a more like full-time job. I can't just keep going on to sets, not getting paid and doing all these things. So like it always been something that I really wanted to do, directing. I knew that I wanted to do that. Pandemic comes, right? 2020, March, we get sent back home. And I'm like, okay, so I have a little bit more time because my primary thing when I was working at the U of R was like events, like helping out with alumni events. Well, we weren't doing any events. No one was doing anything. So I was like, I have a little bit more time. And I can remember just being like, you know what? I have some more time on my hands. Maybe this is when I start my filmmaking career. I had been watching Ava DuVernay, a director the one who did 13th. That was the first time I watched the film going, this is actually something I could do. This is something I could do. And then with the pandemic, I was like, and with everything that was happening, the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Daniel Prude here in Rochester, I was like, you know what, this is the time. This is the time if I'm going to do anything else, like as far as contributing, to sharing the stories of Black folks, multifaceted, right? Not the stereotypical things that we, the narratives that we get, portraying Black people. But I was like, if this if I'm going to do it, it has to be now while I have a little bit of time. So I talked to my friend Deb at the time, who was an aspiring cinematographer. And I was like, crazy idea. Would you like to start a production company in the middle of a pandemic? And she's like, absolutely. So we did. We, with a friend of ours, Mona Isler, who has been like my cheerleader for a long time. Yeah, we did a short documentary with her. And yeah, that's how we started Our Voices Project, was wanting to share the stories. Well, first it was Black people. We asked them questions. It's like, what are three events in your life that have really shaped who you are today? And then recognizing a lot of the struggles, that Black folks have, right? I mean, there are some like similarities and everything, with Black folks' struggles. There's struggles in other communities as well. And so we really want to highlight those who've been oppressed and marginalized. And so that's why it's now Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples. And yeah, Our Voices Project, we've been going since 2020. There's just been so much that has happened since then. But yeah, I'm really glad to be in a space where this is what I get to do. So yeah, again, another long-winded answer.
No.
It's okay. You answered like 10 of my questions.
You're welcome. That's the AD. That's the ADHD. It's just like, listen, you're gonna ask me something, I'm gonna answer it, and then a bunch of other things. So you are welcome, Kelly.
And in the beginning of the pandemic, was that the Being Black in America that you made? Was that the first?
Oh no, that wasn't the first one. So one that it was a documentary short called Mona, and you can actually go watch that on our website and on our YouTube channel. So if you search for Our Voices Project or go to youtube.com/@OurVoicesProject, you'll see that video there. You can watch it. It was about where Mona, she shares 3 things about her life that really shaped her into who she is. So she shared her hair journey. She talked about being in improv. She's really good at it. And like also like coming to find like her voice in that. And then also just talking about how as a child and how when she was growing up, that she was called light-skinned, and that was really seen as like a negative connotation, and working through that. So she shared all of those things. Yeah, we made it into a documentary short and then premiered it online. And yeah, that's been it. Being Black in America was something that we actually worked on, shot it in January of last year.
Okay.
So it's actually today is the actual, I need to put something out about that. But today is the anniversary of when we shot Being Black in America. So
awesome.
Yeah.
You do so many things, and I wish we had more time, and I feel like we're going to need to have a follow-up because I know we're running short on time. What's a message you could give to young kids out there? I know working with teens is still a huge passion of yours. What's a message we can give to the young people out there who are still not feeling great about themselves?
Don't let anyone tell you, especially yourself, don't let anyone tell you or make you believe that you are not good enough. That's the one thing. Even if, like, I've had a therapist actually tell me this. If you're telling yourself something, right, like you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not enough, right? Is there evidence that shows that this is actually true, right? Is there evidence that shows that this is true? Is there evidence that shows that this is not true? Because I'd be hard pressed to find a lot of evidence that actually says that you are not worthy, that you are not enough. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you are not enough, because you are. And that's it. Like I've definitely like had my share of like comments from folks, growing up, even relatives, right, telling me things like that, and then me internalizing it, but then also me believing that. And it does absolutely nothing for you. You do not get anywhere in life with believing the lies that people are telling you that you are not enough, and especially if it's yourself telling you that.
Preach.
What you got coming up in February?
Yeah, I was going to say, I literally still have like 10 more things I want to talk about with Jackie, and I know that we're running short on time, so I'm like, I don't even want to ask a question. So that's a great question, Kelly. Jackie, what do you got coming up?
It was like we got 8 minutes. It's fine. I can work it in. So what I have coming up in February, so on the Jackie photography side of things, so we have Valentine's Day with the Memorial Art Gallery. I have actually been organizing that with them. I'm super, super, super excited to do that. We're going to have a dance party. We're going to have like arts and crafts going on. We're going to have a mini photo session with yours truly. There will also be vendors, so women business owners there and everything to talk to you about their products and services. It's going to be a great time. You can also tour the gallery at the Memorial Art Gallery, and that's going to be on Valentine's Day, February 13th at 6:30 to 9 p.m. So you can go to their website, mag.rochester.edu, for tickets. And then on the filmmaking side, so I'm partnering with Our Voices Project is partnering with the Bristol English Project. So that was founded by Walter English. Yeah. So Walter English, he, through the Bristol English Project, he connects descendants of chattel slavery to their ancestors and makes genealogy more accessible for Black people. So we're actually
is outrageously interesting.
Just insane.
The fact that he has figured out how to navigate those documents is just, it's surreal. It's insane.
It's surreal. It's insane. So we're going to be doing a presentation on February 12th. Yes. February 12th from 6 to 8:30. It's going to be at the Irondequoit Public Library. So we're going to be showing Being Black in America and then go straight into Walter's presentation just about like everything that he does, like the challenges, and a little bit about, how he goes through it, those, it's going through slave schedules. It's going through like all these different things just for Black folks to find, their ancestors. So it's going to be great. It's going to be an important talk, and looking forward to seeing everyone there. So yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
That's incredible.
Are you working on any other film or documentary or series?
We are working on one that I can't say too much about yet, but literally, like, I'm supposed to be in this week submitting some things, to the person that hired us to do this film. But yeah, I am super excited about that. We have another film also called This Is My Grandmother, which we're actually going to be showing soon. I just have to nail down the date. But This Is My Grandmother is about two Indigenous families, one from the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin and the other from the Tuscarora Nation, both of which are part of the Six Nations under the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. And it's discussions across these two families across 3 generations. So we're really, really happy about that one as well. And you'll see more info about that soon as well. So yeah, lots going on. Always out here doing all the things, because I'm an overachiever and that's what I do.
So Jackie, talk Oscars.
Oh my God. There are some ones that I'm really hoping for that are recognized. Oh gosh, it was like you put me right on the spot. I'm like, oh man.
I did.
Hold on. I did. Yeah.
I like to follow you during the Oscars.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, the announcements were supposed to be out, but they've been actually delayed. So I'm just curious as to when those are going to be released. But a couple movies right off the bat. So one that I'm actually just now getting over because it was just it was like weird and like it has a great message, but oh my God, just prepare yourself. If you're not someone who's into body horror, don't do it. Don't do it. But it's called The Substance, featuring Demi Moore.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh my God. She is an incredible, I'm so happy that she's getting recognition, especially for like a serious film. She's always been good, but I feel like people have been sleeping on Demi Moore. But she really she put her everything into this film. And the underlying message is really just, again, about self-acceptance. It's something that we all need reminders of. Again, that's a message that I probably could have gotten in another way, but it's still because I was just like, oh, we're gonna try something new. It's really good. Just prepare yourself. Another one is called No Other Land. It's actually 4 directors. 2 are Palestinian and 2 are Israeli, and it's about how Basil, who's the main character, or not main character because it's a documentary, but so Basil, they're constantly being displaced by the Israeli army, and it's about, he's documenting all of this and trying to spread the message about what's going on, right, to what's happening in his town and their neighborhoods and everything, and their homes being bulldozed, without notice. This is again a part of the Israel's strategic plan to try to push Palestinians out of their homes, and so these two team up to document this, and it's a powerful film. It's called No Other Land. It's on the short list, I think, as far as the Oscars go, so I'm really pulling for that. I know the Little Theater is going to be releasing it in February again, so be on the lookout for that. No Other Land. Yeah, but I am really looking forward to it and would absolutely recommend both of those films. So if you have the opportunity to go and see those, definitely go and see those.
And to watch Our Voices Project.
Yes, Our Voices. Yes. Our Voices Project. So if you go to our website, ourvoicesproject.com, you can see some of our films there. We're also on YouTube, so check us out there. We also have a podcast called Representation in Cinema, where we talk about Black, Brown, and Native representation in films. And and also too, sign up for our newsletter. You can get all of the info about upcoming events, new projects, new podcast episodes, and everything like that. If you go to our website, to the About Us page, you can sign up for our newsletter. And then we're also on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for the remaining however many days we have left on TikTok. I'm actually sad about that. We're on Blue Sky and Threads as well. So check us out, come and hang out, and
And Jackie Photography. If you want to get your picture taken
as well. Yes, if you want to. I know, I'm like doing so many things, I'm like losing track of all the things. Yes, but I'm also at JackiePhotographs.com. So I am a high school senior and family an event photographer, as well as an editorial photographer. So if you're an up-and-coming model and everything like that, or if you need things, for editorials, so anything like in a magazine, newsletter, or anything like that, that's what I do. Right now, I'm actually planning a few offers for families and seniors, so please be on the lookout for that. As I said, with Our Voices Project on JackiePhotographs.com on my website, you can also sign up for my newsletter there, because then that's where you're going to get all of the news about deals coming up. And I do have some coming up for, again, like I said, families and high school juniors going into their senior year. So look out for that.
Fantastic. Well. So, Jackie, we're going to have you back. We'll just break it into 2 episodes so I can ask the other 27 questions I have.
Yep.
Would love to.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you joining us today.
Yes, thank you. You have a great day.
All right. Have a great day, Jackie. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, I guess we did need 10 hours.
I have so many more questions.
I know. We'll have to have her back on, because she had an important meeting she had to get to. Probably something about this new film she's working on, and I'm excited to press her about that because I want to know more.
Exactly. I want to know more about how she navigates her different social media accounts, business and personal. I know that not just her work with Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples, but she also speaks very clearly on worldwide issues, things like Palestine and Israel, and I know she touched briefly on that film that was made. I want to know more about just her journey and how she decides what stories to tell.
Right. And photography and videography are photography and filmmaking have so many similarities, but they're also very opposite and very like almost competitive sometimes. Like, how do you navigate all of that and keep it all separate?
And I know she did the Being Black in America and This Is My Grandmother. I didn't know about Mona, so I have to check that one out.
Yep.
But I think that what she's doing is life-changing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Still have to bring her back.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed her story and want to hear more, we will let you know when we can bring her back on. But until then, If you are interested in being a part of our podcast, please reach out, bossyrock@gmail. If you have any questions for us, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. If not, follow us on social, Bossy Rock, Bossy Rochester on Instagram, and we'd love to hear what you're up to and what your predictions are for the year. We'd love to hear how things are going in small business world outside of Rochester.
And keep making those affirmations.
Keep affirming.
All right, be bold.
Be brave.
Be the boss.
Be the boss.